Yes, indeed, Peter. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the top story, the death of Enoch Mpianzi, Elena at Parktown Boys High School here in Johannesburg. We have our reporter now who's been following the story for us since this morning, Mahlako Komane, who joins me now in studio. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon to you, Balesanda viewers at home.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed. Mahlako, you've been on the story since it broke, and maybe you'll convince me and make me understand. So from the little that we've gathered is that the boys were grouped into groups of 5 and 6 during that particular water activity. So the question really here is, how did it happen that no one had noticed that Enoch was missing?
You know, it was, I think everybody, we spoke as reporters and as journalists after the end of this briefing that there was, I think, more questions at the end of it than there were answers. And I think more than anything, we really also want to just perhaps get an opportunity for the school to call a press briefing, because you are quite correct. What we understood was that these boys were put into groups. They then had to make this, they call it a simulation of sort, because you hear Mr. Lesufi saying that when he got there, he asked that they put him through the same simulation exercise that they had put the boys through. What we then understood, because the information is still not coming in at the rate that it should, because even Mr. Lesufi is very careful to say that he has been briefed. But what we understand from some of the kids that we managed to speak to off camera and ask what actually happened, and you can obviously see some children, you will hear some children as they tell their parents as they're walking out of the school, saying that I think about 5 boys or so were said to had to be pulled out and rescued. If you actually check on the Twitter feed of MEC Lesufi, some parents saying their child had to grab onto a stick to try and come out of this river. But I think the most important thing that we need to ask is if indeed the current of this river was not conducive to people swimming in it, because you don't even know the strength. Every swimmer has their own strength. They don't even know what is it that's going on. But I think most importantly is the head count. How was this head count conducted? If you put 20 kids in a river at this point of the stream, you want them at that end of the point, you expect to get 20 out. It would seem, let me be very cautious to say this, it would seem that perhaps that wasn't done. Was there a buddy system to say, 5 of you guys, our buddies on these exercises, at the end of every exercise, where's your buddy? It doesn't seem like that's what happened. And also quite concerning, the timeline. This, we're told, happened on Wednesday. Kids then went on a hike. This case was only reported with SABC apparently on Thursday
24 hours later.
24 hours
and
later.
How did they even realize then, if they couldn't realize on Wednesday when it happened?
We still don't really know, but what we're getting from, like I said, we're literally piecing together pieces of the puzzle. It's apparently the kid that was sharing, I don't know if it's a dorm with Enoch, that then noticed that he was missing. But then today at the briefing, we then got an indication that there was a head count. It was that then the alarm was, there was an alarm that was raised. But the question is, does the head count take place at the end of the night, especially when you have water activities? Water in its nature, it's not a swimming pool. It's a dangerous, it's a flowing river. Yes, a flowing river is quite dangerous, and we understand it flows into a dam. Surely at the end of every group you put into the stream, you should be able to count. I've put in 15, I need 15 out.
And one would also imagine that there is supposed to be someone along the way from the start point to the end point who monitors these boys. But of course, I think we'll have to wait for the school to actually release their statement on that particular matter. But social media really asking questions as to, did the school even check if the boys could swim on their own? Quite a critical question there.
Very critical question, not the only critical question that was posed, and we still don't have answers of some sort. We're hoping this briefing would have really opened up, would have helped us piece together more of the puzzles or fill in those missing holes. Life jackets, what happened there? Like we said, this is a flowing river. If you go river rafting at any lodge in South Africa, you're expected to wear a life jacket so that we understand you are in. Like I said, every swimmer is different. You don't know how strong your stroke is. You don't know how strong that river is. And also, I think there were reports that there were heavy rains preceding to these kids going at that particular area. So I think a lot of safe questions that really only the school can ask. And I have to add this, Palisa, and it was a question we posed to MEC Lesufi, was the issue of authority that was there, because there was a parent that was really shouting at the department spokesperson, saying that what you did was not right, this is not okay, you're going to kill our children. But also some parents saying, how do you put matric students in charge of grade 8 learners? So there was that issue of authority. Were they teachers there? Were they, people that were trained in your CPR in these emergency type of situations? And let me see Lesufi answering that when he got there, he saw like over 10 parents. But we're saying within 24 hours, you can pass in 10 teachers because there's a situation. But the issue of reporting this matter a day and a half later to the department, very concerning what happened in Brits.
And the parents themselves, because we understand that they only got to learn of the incident through the media.
A lot of the parents saying that they saw this on, Mr. Lesufi is quite big on the Twitter.
Yeah.
He's got speedy fingers there. It was that, and I think also on other newspapers and those online newspapers as well as the radio stations. But Mr. Lesufi actually did speak about that, saying that for them their biggest concern was the parents of the young man that was then discovered to be missing. But also, throughout the course of the night, parents could have been called. We understand that is it under 200 or just over 200 learners that were on this camp. An SMS could have been sent out. The principal could have gotten on the phone and started calling parents, please note that there is this that's happening. Also, when children go in these camps, they take away their phones. Children aren't able to communicate with their parents. You don't know if your child is safe or not. It's a really a catch-22 situation. And also MEC Lesufi saying he wanted to put a blanket suspension on camps. He's thinking about it, but he's not sure. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. And any statement from the school itself?
The school for now, we understand, hasn't really said much, but we understand when they were again in the papers a few years back on the sexual assault thing, they were very quick to hire a PR company to do the work. We're hoping maybe they'll do the same so that they can give us an indication. But it's that independent report that or investigation that the department is saying is going to take place, that we're hoping to get answers. They're saying that it might take like at least about 3 months. But I think the school needs to come and speak. A lot of parents, it is the January season, a lot of kids going on to camp. I myself am a parent with a child that is going to a school camp. I'm concerned. You're already
concerned and frustrated.
Do I give the child permission or not? What am I going? Am I also going to receive a phone call 3 days later to find out that my child has gone with the river? And I think a lot of uncertainty, because as I said, it's January season. These camps are popular at schools. What do you then do following going forward? You don't want to deny your child the experience of that particular year, the themes or the activities that have been planned. Very, very uncertain times for both parents and schools in the province.
It certainly is. Well, Mahlako, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for that update.
Thank you.
SABC News reporter Mahlako Komane, who is on that story. The body of Enoch Mpianzi has been found. He was on a camp. He's a learner at Parktown Boys High School here in Johannesburg.